people, welcome back to RonsTechHub, and today I'm going to be looking at the Motorola G82 and the brand new Motorola G84. So let's get cracking. Let's do a quick rundown of the specs first. So both phones are OLED screens. The G82 has an AMOLED screen which runs at 120Hz, and the G84 has a P-OLED screen which also runs at 120Hz. Very good screens. The G82 has a 6.6 inch screen and the G84 has 6.5 inches, and to be fair, you don't notice a difference. 0.1 of an inch is not something that most people will recognize. Both these devices are using exactly the same processor, which is a Snapdragon 695. This is a 6 nanometer processor, not the newest thing in the world, but in my opinion still very capable. Most people I find only need about 1080 at 60 frames per second, and this camera does it very well. They both have dual SIM card slots, and they also, both of them support micro SD card slot in the second SIM slot. The G82 has 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage versus the G84, which has 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. Very capable devices, and again, both of them are roughly 250 pounds. Both devices have a 50 megapixel camera, and both of them have optical image stabilization. Now what that means is that you will get more stable shots when doing pictures and also more stable video. Both devices have an 8 megapixel camera, and both of them are running at f1.2. These are the ultra wide cameras. Not the best quality as per normal ultra wide cameras. I don't really think it's necessary. Now the G82 has a 2 megapixel macro camera, which is actually absent, not present on the G84. Again, if you're going to have any camera at 2 megapixels, in my opinion, there's no point, so I'm glad they left it off on the G84 and gave us, for example, more RAM. Both phones give you a 16 megapixel front-facing camera, which should be more than good enough for video calls. Both these main cameras run at 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second, which I think, in my opinion, for something that's roughly 250 pounds, is the sweet spot for most people. Both phones also have stereo speaker setup, so we have a speaker at the bottom and a speaker at the top where the headset grill is. And another thing that these phones, both under 300 pounds or roughly 240 to 250 pounds, what they both have is a 3.5mm headphone jack. This is something I think needs to come back into phones because the whole Bluetooth thing isn't working out very well for everyone. I think that we've been sold this dream by these companies stating that we took the headphone jack out for a good purpose. I think the main purpose was that Apple wanted to sell their AirPods and other companies have simply followed on. I wanted this to be a very short video, so I'm just going to simply now go over some of the things I think the G84 does really well. Just give a contrast. So I think the vibration on the G84 feels weaker, however it feels a lot smoother. So when typing, unlocking the phone, pressing the buttons, the G82's vibration felt really strong, but it didn't feel really smooth and really even. I know that's a weird thing, but because I'm one of those people that I need haptic feedback on, it's a big thing for me. The G84's more squared look looks much better to me. Again, personal opinion. The 12 gigabytes of RAM is much better and it's going to be amazing for multitasking. I think this phone could be one of those mid-range / low-range flagship killers. The under-screen fingerprint sensor makes this phone seem more premium than it actually is. Now, I personally prefer my fingerprint sensor now being on the power button on the left or right hand side, because when I put my phone in my pocket and I'm taking it out, when my thumb lands naturally on that button anyway. If I'm driving and I need to quickly unlock it to then speak to it, I can do that. It's just a lot more convenient for it being there, but I understand why they've done this. They needed the phone to be or seem more premium. I think the only thing I would say about this phone is that I'm a bit skeptic. I'm not a skeptic because this is by any means a bad phone. I think the Snapdragon 695, though it's not a very new processor, is still very capable. I love the fact that this comes with a memory card slot. I love the fact that this comes with 256 gigabytes worth of storage. I love the fact that this comes with 2 SIM card slots. I love the fact that this has really decent mid-range cameras. I love the fact that this has a headphone jack. So if you're someone that likes to record videos and you wanted to use a proper microphone, you could simply plug something in and you could also listen to music whilst the phone is being charged. I love the fact that this has USB-C. I love the fact that... So I'm all for this phone. But I am a skeptic because Motorola over the years has not been very good when it comes to updates. Now we have a 12 gigabyte phone here with 256 gigabytes of storage, and I'm making the assumption, because this is what they've done before, is that within a year or year and a half, this phone is going to be somewhat useless. It'd still be working, but because we won't be getting new Android updates, it's going to be left in the dust. For example, I have a Motorola G200 that has a Snapdragon 888 Plus, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I don't get Android 13. And of course, I don't get Android 14. So it's a bit disappointing. So if anyone at Motorola is watching this, the easy thing to do is to fix the update schedule or the update system that you guys have. The next best thing is to simply put your phones on the Android One program. I don't know the requirements. I don't know but if you guys could do that, your phones could become really, really amazing devices. Thank you for watching.